Ready for what? Was it my week?
Yeah, isn't it?
It is. You know what? I got nothing besides, you know what I hate? Facebook Live.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like it.
Okay.
I don't like the fact that it comes up like a notification, like something important's going on.
Oh, I have that turned off.
Okay, and then somebody's eating a shrimp salad. And they're like, look at this, man. Look how great it is. The other day, somebody came on. I was like, oh, man, this is exciting. What's going on Facebook Live? And they just looked at me and said, it's time for the enthusiasts.
Yes! Oh my God!
Everybody, this is episode 29.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, wow. I'm one of your hosts, Justin Zari. Over with me is Mint Chocolate Chip shirt wearing.
Will Zabo.
His shirt really does look like Mint Chocolate Chip.
Yeah, it does.
I like that. Is that another tattoo?
Well, this is an old one, too.
What is that?
This is the Iron Horde symbol from Warcraft.
I don't like it.
And then over here,
I do like that one.
I see turtle.
I got a sea turtle.
I just really like turtles.
I like turtles. Fair enough. Fair enough. I like turtles too, I guess. How's your week?
Not too bad. I haven't really had much time to play games. I plan on starting that back up this week.
Oh, that didn't open quietly.
I've been watching a lot of Netflix, though. I've been watching The Keepers.
Okay, never heard of it.
It has to do with the case on that missing nun that happened back in the 60s. They never found her murderer, so it's like, you know. And I'm sure that, you know, you don't find out who did it anyway, but it's just giving you the information.
It's like the Black Dahlia movie. It's like, I know we didn't catch the person, so...
The Zodiac Killer?
Yep.
Yeah.
You ever play L.A. Noire?
I love L.A. Noire.
Where they explained the Black Dahlia Killer, and it was like a politician's brother. And it was like, they swept it under the rug because of that. It's like that probably really happened.
Did you know L.A. Noire might be coming to the PS4, the Switch, and the Xbox One?
Oh, that'd be awesome. I love that game.
Yeah, I'd play that again.
Yeah. Facial expressions scared me a little bit,
but yeah, I haven't really been playing much. Probably going to get back into it this week because Crash comes out on the PS4.
I know, 30th. Can't wait.
Yes, I'll be playing that. How about you? What have you been up to?
I finished Bulletstorm. I can say I was disappointed, not because it wasn't a fun game, because it's been a rare time for me. I was like, I feel like that game was too short. I wanted to keep playing. I feel like it just ended abruptly, and I was really disappointed, but it was good. And then I started playing ARMS a little more, and I can say I'm getting pretty damn good in it.
Oh, yeah?
I'm whooping the computer's ass, no issue. I got really good at dodging and hitting. Getting perfects now, you know.
Oh.
Coming from our last podcast where I was like, it's too hard. I'm getting a couple perfects, so I'm like, yeah, I'm doing pretty well.
Nice.
Won the belt the other day.
I saw.
And I put it online because well, good. My Spring Man's my go-to. I thought I was gonna like the ninja guy, but I really like Spring Man.
The main character.
Yep.
So he's like the Ryu of the group.
He is really good. He's pretty nasty. It's nice. It's nice.
Okay.
The only thing I'm kind of annoyed with is I don't think you can unlock the final boss or so. I don't know how to do it.
Huh.
And I refuse to look it up online because I feel like that's weird.
Gotcha.
It's a Nintendo game. Like, if I didn't have it 20 years ago, I don't want to have it now. So I'm going to keep playing along and see if I can unlock it. But really, he's got to be unlockable.
You know what? You probably have to get nothing but perfects with every character. When you do that, though, you let me know if that unlocks it.
I'm going to try it, see how it goes. Besides that, I bought the Power Ranger movie today, even though it doesn't come out till the 27th.
Yeah.
And if you don't know, everybody, today's the 25th. I am really excited. I really like that movie. I heard that they're debating whether they're going to do another one or not, which really annoys me because I really like that movie. So, like, the reviews were pretty good for it. Like, I don't understand why they wouldn't do another one.
Apparently, they had, what was it, like 5 or 6 planned when they did the first one? Like, they had, like, a storyline built out for a while.
I really enjoyed it. Like, I was thinking about it the other day, and I haven't seen it since theaters, but I was like, you know what? It was a really good, like, if you take all the Power Ranger elements out of it, it's actually a really good, like, coming to age story. And then I was like, and if you do put the Power Ranger elements in it, you got a badass Power Ranger movie. But I was really thinking about it was when it started switching over into like gearing up to Power Rangers, I was kind of like, oh, I kind of want to see where their characters are going. I was like, you did a good job. That I actually cared about these characters, teenagers. I'm an old man. I shouldn't care about teenagers.
No.
Now it's getting creepy. That's it.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to watch it again, legally, because it doesn't come out for, another 2 days.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting. I would say that might be an early birthday gift for you.
That's what it was, because I made my wife get it for me.
For those of you
felt like a child
that don't know, Jesse's birthday is on the 26th. Happy birthday.
Thanks, buddy.
For one of our enthusiasts.
This is weird. Now everybody knows. It's terrible. I wasn't going to say anything. Since you ruined it.
Oh, no, I need everyone to know. Maybe our Facebook page will get swarmed with happy birthday Jesse's.
Fair enough.
Or memes.
We'll see what happens on your birthday now. Explosions,
fires.
fires.
My birthday's like in the middle of the week. We don't talk about that. I share it with your son, so there's no reason to bring up mine.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But you know what? I think we could probably get into
the news. What's first on the agenda? You want to talk about what didn't happen? The Transformers movie?
Yeah, we'll start with that.
Man, I've seen bad reviews. All right. I follow two guys for reviews. I watch Jeremy Johns because I usually like his reviews. Sometimes he's been a little but most of the time he's spot on. He hated it. I mean, I don't think he said one positive thing about it. I also follow Mr. Movie Sundays, who I think does a really good review, and he's usually way more fair than Jeremy Johns. Like, he usually is a little less critical. He tore the movie apart. So I'm like, wow, he once again didn't say anything positive about the movie, so.
It's funny because I was kind of in the same boat where I was going to, even people that I usually don't watch, I was just like, someone out there has to like this movie. It's pretty much across the board just awful. I will say this, Rotten Tomatoes-wise, it's scoring higher than Age of Extinction. But Age of Extinction was pretty bad.
Yeah.
So
I don't know, from what I heard, it's like a rip-off of Star Wars, and there's characters that do nothing in it, and then once again, like every Transformer movie, it's like too long with the human characters. But one thing that I saw on 3 different views, Chris Zuckerman mentioned it, Jeremy Johns, and Mr. Movie Sunday. I guess it was filmed in IMAX for the majority of it, and also filmed regularly, and during the action scenes, it will switch back and forth, and it's so jarring and noticeable that like all 3 of them had to mention it during their reviews. Which is a really weird thing. Like, you know how Dark Knight Rises were both filmed in IMAX. So the action scenes were all big IMAX, you could tell. And then when it would cut down for the dialogue, apparently in Transformers, it'll cut to them fighting, and then it'll switch to like people going, "Are you okay?" Like back to regular format. And he was like, every one of them said it was just so noticeable and so weird. I was like, what a weird choice. So to me, that says like Michael Bay had like 3 IMAX cameras filming, and then like 2 regular ones. It was like, yeah, we'll make this work.
anything on the people, regular.
Right.
Anything in the blank space where we're going to put the robots, IMAX.
And people say that he can't make a good movie. I don't believe that, because I really like Pain and Gain. 13th Hour I thought was really good. Bad Boys.
Do you think maybe he's turning into an M. Night Shyamalan?
I don't think it's an M. Night Shyamalan thing. I think he honestly. This is just a little conspiracy theory. I think he doesn't want to make these movies anymore. So he's like, you know what? I'm going to make crap.
And people don't get
they make money, and then they're like, oh, make another one. And no one's going to say no to like $1 billion.
Yeah.
When they're like, hey, make another Transformers. It's like, no, thank you. They're like, we'll give you $1 billion. Flip it up, go ahead. And it's like, to me, because the first one wasn't terrible. I think everybody can agree with that.
You can say the first one was good.
Yeah. The second one to me was, Third one picked it up a little bit for me. I was like, there's hope in this franchise. And then it's been downhill since then again.
It's funny, because after the third one, I was like, and I heard that they were going to keep going even after Shia LaBeouf, I was like, please, just do Cybertron. Because the weakest part of those movies are the humans, in my opinion. If you just do Cybertron and show the war of Cybertron, I think it'd be great. They didn't go that route. They once again went with the humans and stuff like that. And it's like, man, this is really like...
I just think it's funny that even the original cartoon realized that story can get stagnant really quickly. So anybody that's around my age remembers, after the first season of Transformers, they jumped 20 years. It jumps 20 years in the franchise. Like, if the cartoon can do that and realize, let's not stay stale, let's start introducing more stuff and do different things, how they haven't figured out this formula is not working for these films. For 5 films.
Yeah.
This is 5 films in, man.
And don't they have one more, or was this actually the last one?
Michael Bay says this is his last one. He also said that about
the third one.
Third one and the fourth one.
Yeah.
We'll see. I had a lot of hope for this. I saw the whole Knights of the Round Table thing. I thought it was cool. Anthony Hopkins. I was like, hey, this got a chance.
Yeah, it's funny because all the trailers I saw for it, I was like, man, like I don't want to see this movie or want to like it, but the trailers look great. And like Megatron's one of my favorite characters, and he looks badass in this movie. But then I saw the reviews, and I was like, can someone just give it something positive so I can have a reason to see it?
And it's funny, I've seen every one of them in theaters, so like my wife's like, well, we got to see it just to finish it out. I'm like, no, because then I'm going to be part of the problem. Just talking smack,
That's my problem.
seeing these, and then going to see it. It's like, I don't want to support it anymore. And it's like, there was a reason I didn't go see the last Underworld in theaters, because it was torn apart reviews. I didn't like the one before it, so I'm not going to support
What was
that.
the one before it?
I think this one was Blood Wars, the one before that was I Don't Care.
The 3D one, right?
Yeah. I don't know.
Because I thought
The third one was the best. I don't care.
the Rise of Lycans,
The Lycan War line was amazing.
That was my favorite one
Yeah.
too.
What's his face? The guy who played the main.
Lucian.
Yeah, I'm gonna just sound a little gay. I had such a man crush on him. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like I would have joined the war just because I love him. I love him. Like, he really had me like hyped up, man. When he was like, "Are we Lycans?" I was like, "We're Lycans." No, it's a fictional movie. I'm a human being, but I was with him, man.
I agree. They did a really good, and that movie really brought to light like the werewolves in the normal series because you didn't really see that side.
No, but like I feel like to go on that sometimes a franchise will hit their stride in number 5. Think about it this way: Days of Future Past was X-Men's 5th movie, technically, and that's when that movie it rejuvenated that franchise again. Although First Class, in my opinion, is still their best one. Not too many people seen this. This was a way to revamp the series, and I think Days of Future Past was amazing. I can't think of any other number 5s that really.
I honestly think ever since First Class, X-Men has really figured out like here's what we need to do to work. It's not what we were doing. And same with Logan. Logan, they didn't even really base anything off the comic, to be honest. And anyone who's read the comic knows that. But it was still a good movie.
I do think Logan was very comical because it's that trilogy of films. Everyone got better. They really did. Like the first one, Liv Schuyler was by the only thing I liked about Wolverine Origins. When it played Sabretooth. Only thing I liked about that movie.
God, that movie was so bad.
It was terrible. Like he was literally the only thing I liked about that movie. I hated Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool for the first 5 minutes before they turned him into Baraka.
Only when I sleep.
Yeah, they turned him into Baraka. Remember that with sword hands?
God.
And then Wolverine. I always feel like that is 2 separate movies because the first hour and like 20 minutes of that movie are amazing, and then the last half where he's fighting the Silver Samurai feels like a completely different film because it's all awful. But like the beginning of that movie, I was like, wow, this is an amazing movie. Then you get to Logan, and it's just a fantastic film.
Yeah.
So it's like it took them 3 movies, but they figured it out.
I guess it's better late than never.
I guess so. But that's what you should be doing in a franchise. I'm going to take it right back to Transformers. If you're going to make continuous films, make them better. You know what I mean?
I agree.
The fact that you're still living off the coattails that the first Transformer movie was really good, it's terrible.
It is bad when that's all fans say.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's your favorite Transformers movie? The first one.
First one.
Which wasn't even...
Third one's watchable.
Yeah.
That's...
The first one wasn't even that great. It was just a good movie, and it was a good starting point, but then they just kind of...
I also feel like, I'll be honest, if I could get my hands on this franchise, and I know I'm not a director, I know I'm just talking out my ass by this point, but you had really good source materials, you know what I mean?
Yes.
The 1986 cartoon, one of the best things about it was Transformers crashed on Earth at prehistoric times. They literally got shut down and were stuck in hibernation until they were discovered in the 80s. To me, that was such an awesome time point. Like, they get opened up, and people don't know if they're aliens, if they're old ancient beings, whatever, because the Ark looked like an old temple that they hadn't discovered in the desert. And I always liked that story element. And they're like, no, that's something we're just going to take out of these movies. Like,
Yeah.
one of the coolest parts of the cartoon. And I don't know. I know it's a simple concept. It's American made machines versus evil military robots. That's all it was.
I mean, I could be wrong too. Starscream's my favorite character in all of Transformers, and I thought he wasn't the same in the movies as he is in the cartoon. Whereas he always was behind the scenes planning to destroy Megatron.
Absolutely.
And take over. Whereas in the movies, it seemed like he was okay with being in the second place, and he was always afraid of Megatron. And it's like, that's not Starscream.
I agree. That you're absolutely right. Like, take it back to the 1986 movie when Starscream, literally Megatron's a little hurt, and Starscream's like, oh, let's kill him. All right, I can be your leader. Like, Megatron's like, what are you doing? He just throws him out of a ship because he's like, hey, you snooze, you lose. I agree with you. And take it back to Beast Wars. When Starscream possesses Waspinator, first thing he did was try to take over again. You know what I mean? Not even the same Megatron, and he tried to take over. And that's another thing that gets me mad, is you got this huge Transformers lore, and I feel like you keep beating the same storyline over and over.
I also feel like they try to do these racial...
robots?
Yeah.
There's a French robot in this last one.
I know. It makes no sense. I'm like, why are you doing this? Like, people, you do know people care about these characters, and you're not even treating them with respect most of the time.
Honestly, Optimus and Bumblebee are the only ones that were treated with any decent respect.
I agree.
And it was like...
Well, did they have the original voice actor for Megatron, or no?
No, he came back in the fourth film.
Okay, because I thought I recognized it at some point, but I couldn't.
Frank Welcher came back in the fourth film. He did Galvatron.
That's right, okay.
Which is weird, because he didn't even play Galvatron in the original movie. He played only Megatron. But... either way, I'm really disappointed, and like I said, I've seen all of them in theaters, but I'm not doing it this time. I'm done. No.
Yeah,
You're not getting another penny from me.
I didn't see the fourth one in theaters.
I did.
As much as I wanted to see it, because...
they always come out around my birthday, so I always end up seeing them for my birthday.
I really wanted to see it because Grimlock is one of my favorite Transformers. Starscream's number one. I don't really like any of the Autobots besides Optimus and Grimlock. But I was like, man, like the Dinobots were always like one of my favorites, and Grimlock was my favorite. And when I saw he was in the movie, I was like, oh man, it's Grimlock, and he literally did nothing but get ruined.
Yeah. Well, that's funny you mentioned it. My favorite's always been Hot Rod. My favorite Transformer, and it was just the time I grew up, because I say it to most people, and they're like, "The fake want to be Optimus Prime," but it was like when I was growing up, that was my Optimus Prime was Hot Rod, and they actually put him in this movie, and I'm like, even Hot Rod can't say this. I'm doing it. Not to mention, if I go see it and they ruin his character, I'd be pissed.
Yeah.
The fact that Judd Nelson's not playing him doesn't matter to me.
Do you think these reviews are really going to deter people from seeing the movie, though? Or do you think it's going to be everyone's going to go see it, and then...
It's still doing well. It's still, I looked out right now, box office-wise, it's doing well.
Really?
Yeah, and it's Transformers. But be honest, I'm not shocked. My last job, when I went back to work after seeing Age of Extinction, I was like, I don't know what crap I watched. Like, 6 people were defending that film. It was good, man. It was good. What movie did you watch? There's literally a line in that movie. My face is your warrant. What?
Did you have your eyes closed and imagine something else the entire time?
Did you walk in the wrong theater and they played the 1986 film? You're like, this is great. Transformers, we talked about you enough. We're done.
Yeah, let's move on. So, speaking of sequels and all, we actually end fifth movies. We actually saw our first, I guess, teaser. It was a poster for Jurassic World sequel. Did you see it? Did you take a look?
I did see the poster. I saw the little tagline. We also heard the breaking news when it happened that Jeff Goldblum was coming back for it.
Yeah.
So, I've been excited for that movie since he was announced for the film. You know what I mean? Just because I love this guy. Ian Malcolm was one of my favorite characters from Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
And I love the first 2 movies. You know what I mean?
Just because of that.
Yeah, and I'm glad to see him come back.
Wait, Lost World? Do you really like Lost World?
Yeah, I love Lost World.
I felt like
The
Lost
third
World.
one.
I felt like Lost World was the weakest of the original trilogy.
Really? Over 3? Oh, 3 I couldn't stand, man.
Yeah, I could not get through it. And I used to defend Lost World when I was younger. I used to be like, Lost World's the best. And I recently rewatched all 3, and I was just like, 2 is not good. 2 is definitely the weakest.
I enjoy too. I know, like I said, I like Ian Malcolm's character. I think he's great.
He is a fun
really,
character.
Really little known fact. He died in the book, and they decided not to do it in the movie because they cast Jeff Goldblum. Only reason he survived.
Oh,
yeah. Weird, isn't it?
So anyway, the poster isn't anything special. For anyone who's seen it, it's pretty much the same poster we see for every Jurassic Park movie.
A dinosaur.
Yep.
Leg.
But the tagline is what really kind of has people talking. Life always finds a way. So what do you think this is going to take it? And then we'll talk about what we kind of want to see out of it.
I'll be honest, I don't know where they went. Because technically, one, or Jurassic World, was kind of a remake of one, slightly with a villain of sorts this time. That's all it was.
Yes.
Because the Amidamic Rex, or whatever the name of the thing was just the villain of the movie. So that was a cool idea. I don't know where they could go in the next one. That it doesn't feel stale. Like, I have no idea. There's a reason why people didn't enjoy Jurassic Park 3 except for you. That's because it felt like it's been done already. You know what I mean?
I can understand that.
But you don't want to go over cheesy either and make it like the dinosaurs invade us or something like that.
Well, that's where I actually think it's going to go. I think Jurassic World is literally leading to the planet, not just that theme park anymore. I think what this tagline means is that dinosaurs aren't being made anymore; they're actually being bred, and new species are just appearing. You know, like things happen in real life. You know, animals evolve, but maybe it's happening at a much faster rate now that these experiments have been going on, or something.
Interesting.
We'll see. I hope they don't go. I don't know if did you ever hear the original idea for what
the
they
human,
wanted?
Yeah, I really I don't, and I understand it's a movie about dinosaurs nowadays. I don't want them to go over sci-fi with it.
Yes.
I do. I definitely want the elements that you had. One of the things I liked about Jurassic World, and I heard this one's going to do it. It's going to feel more like a horror film, and that's one of the things I did like about Jurassic World. There was a lot of really tense, eerie scenes in Jurassic World. So I'm really excited to see them go that direction. Like the whole scene where they're hiding on the other side of the Jeep and the Rex is in there with them, that scene has everybody. And you know, it's like these are two major characters. Nothing's going to happen, and you still feel uneasy. They did a good job.
I agree with that.
I'm really curious on what they're going to do with his character and bringing him back. You know what I mean? How he's going to get brought back into the story. You know what I mean?
He's going to die.
No.
They're gonna follow through with the book this time.
No, they're not going to. Shut up. Shut your mouth.
And then it's going to be the worst rated movie because it's number 5.
I don't know what direction they go. Last time we seen them was Lost World, and him and his fiance took down the T-Rex that was attacking the.
So do you think she's making a return? Do we know if she's making?
No, I doubt it.
Do you think they'll reference her?
Maybe.
Do you think his daughter's going to be?
I'm hoping his daughter at least gets referenced. One of the best things about Lost World is they casted a black girl for his daughter.
I actually do think that was really cool, especially for that time.
Yes, and the only reference they said to that joke was, "You see a resemblance? Yeah, in the eyes." That was it. But I don't know. Maybe the daughter will get mentioned. The only thing we hear is him, and I think majority of fans, all we really want to see come back is him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, what I'm really worried about, and call me terrible human being for this, one of the things I can't stand about Jurassic Park, and it's the older I get, the more I can't stand it. Any kid element in the movie always annoys me.
I agree.
And the older I got, it annoyed me more. And to this point, when I saw Jurassic World, the two brothers, I was like, I don't care what happens to you.
You kind of get to a point where you kind of want them.
Yeah, if you get killed, I lose no sleep over this. You know what I mean? I saw the first Jurassic Park in theaters in '93. I love the two kids. And it's like, from there on, and as the older I got, it's like, I hate children. Can't stand them in these movies. I have kids, man.
I'm actually curious as to why they... I mean, I guess I understand why they do it. Put kids in there. I guess it's that fear factor of, oh my God, is something going to happen to these kids? We know that's going to happen to the kids.
I think it's more, you got to remember, though, these films are family films. You know
That's
what I mean?
true, too.
So, no one expects to go see Jurassic Park without it. Like I said, I seen it in '93, and I remember it was a huge deal when Jurassic Park came out. I remember this. I mean, I remember my parents talking about it, and like, we're going to go to Jurassic Park today. This is going to be huge. And I do remember like seeing it in '93, and like, wow, there's dinosaurs on the screen. So to me, those kids were awesome. When I was in '93, because that's who I identified with the movies. I didn't care about Grant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With his little cowboy hat, like, you know what I mean? I wasn't a scientist. I would be that little kid that was like, look at these goggles I found. You know what I mean? Like I said, the older I get, the more I just get annoyed with the children. Like, you know what I mean? And I guess that's what it meant. But I remember, it's funny. I remember me and my brother went to go see Lost World in theaters. And on my way back, I heard my mom and dad talking about the movie, and my mom was like, I really liked it, except for that little girl. She annoyed me the whole time. I thought to myself, she was one of the coolest parts. As an adult now, I'm like, no, not at all.
I can understand that. So, excited for it, though?
Oh, absolutely. It's Jurassic Park, man.
Same.
I'm a simple dinosaurs. I'm good.
So now that we got you back up, because we talked about, we brought you down with Transformers, brought you back up with Jurassic Park. Let's bring you back down. I think you're a little too happy. So, video game news.
I read your notes, man. I'm upset about it already, but I agree with you.
343 Studios said for fans on their forums to not expect a Halo 6 anytime soon. They didn't say why.
These are, by the way, the developers that took over Halo after Bungie left.
Yes. They didn't specify why. They didn't really say anything. All they said was to not expect it anytime soon. My theory is that it's going through some rewrites. Because I originally remember that when 5 was on its way out, it wasn't even out yet, they were saying that they were already working on 6. I think they really had some plans for Locke and what was going on, and then they were like, people did not like Locke.
If anybody had played 5, though, the story focused on Locke. That was the whole story element. So I was thinking they were really expecting they were going to try to Metal Gear Solid 2 it, like, you know what I mean? Throw a new main character on us. And obviously we did not, the fans didn't respond to this new character.
Yeah.
At all.
You did. You liked it.
I loved Locke. I thought it was great.
You think Locke is probably the best thing since sliced bread.
Yes. To me, it made a franchise to me that was kind of getting stale, not so stale anymore. It was nice. You know what I mean? It was putting a little water on a crust, throwing it in the microwave on the pizza, it's good as new. You know what I'm saying?
Now, what I'm curious about is, do you think, and this we can get back to the topic, I mean, it's still about Halo, but do you think fans are just a little biased? Like, do you think people just have such love for Master Chief that no matter who the next character was, it probably didn't matter? Because people responded the same way when the Arbiter came out in 2. People were like, oh, God, now it plays the Arbiter.
Well, I know one of my biggest issues with the Arbiter was the fact that, like, the first Halo game made you feel like a Spartan. You're like, this is how a Spartan is. This is why he's so special. You jump higher, you're stronger, and then you plays the Arbiter, which had the same exact controls, and it was like, oh, well, it makes Master Chief feel a little less special.
It's like, why aren't they sending these guys out against the Spartans? But
I'm going to compare it to Metal Gear Solid 2, like I made that reference. Do I think Raiden, or whatever you want to call him, is a terrible character? No, I think he was a lot more relatable than people give him credit to. He wasn't Solid Snake.
I will admit this. When 2 first came out, and you start off as Snake, I was super pumped for that game. And then when you go back to the base, you're underwater, you have your scuba gear on, you come up, I was like, oh man. And then he takes off the mask, and you're like, who the hell's this guy?
Who's this blonde?
Yeah. I was actually pretty upset at first, but I played through the game, and as you're playing through, you kind of grow a little more attached to Ryder, but he never really sunk in with me the way Snake did.
And I think that was an issue, and obviously,
then they made him super badass for it.
Yeah, but obviously they realized right away the mistake they made, and they went and switched back to Snake. Was it the Snake we wanted right away? No, we got Big Boss.
It was the Snake I needed.
I needed at the time.
The one I deserved.
So, but at the end of the day, it took Eric Kojima listening to the fans, so maybe that's what they want. So my issue is, you know what I mean, maybe I'm alone here. I feel like Master Chief has gone as stale as he can. You know what I mean? Because of the fact that the lack of story on him and the lack of background makes it to the point where I don't even care anymore.
I will say this. When it comes to Master Chief, in order for you to really like him as a character, you had to have read the books. And I don't think that's fair.
Mm.
They really should have made this character... Because I agree with you. When you look at it from just the game perspective, Master Chief is a boring guy. He's monotone. He doesn't really put any emotion into anything he says or does.
You can't even see his facial expressions. You know what I mean?
No, yeah. So you're relying everything on his voice, which, because he's monotone. You don't really get that.
And I think that was one of the reasons I could identify with Locke a little better was every cutscene he didn't have his helmet on. So when you were playing the game and you did have that helmet on, I could picture what he was probably looking like under the helmet. Which sounds weird, but it makes a difference to be able to actually see the face. And yeah, the idea of not seeing Master Chief's face so you can see yourself for the first couple of Halos is a good idea. This is 5 games in now. You know what I mean? This is to the point. It's like, come on, man. Give me something.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean? We know he's a white man under there.
No, he's real white. Like pale.
You're pale.
Will
you play Halo 6 when it gets released? Say you get an Xbox One. You and your wonderful girlfriend get an Xbox X or Xbox One or whatever, they slim model, and they release Halo 6. Are you going to be picking that first day? Has Halo still got that I need name attached to it?
For me, Halo hasn't had that name since 2. 2, in my opinion, was the peak of the series. Even with 5, which I thought the story was a little all over the place, I would have, even if they stuck with Locke, I just would have liked a better flowing story. Like the story didn't feel like it flowed very well. I really think it's going to be based off of the trailers they showed me and the first gameplay. Because if in that first gameplay they can show me like, oh, the story actually is pretty cool. And I think 6, if I remember correctly, is the last one for Master Chief. And I think that's why they were bringing Locke in. I think they were planning for when Master Chief's done, who can we now use as the face of Halo to keep the series going? Because regardless of if you like Halo or I like Halo, it's a series that sells on Xbox.
Yeah.
So they needed to keep going. And I think they were hoping Locke was going to be that guy that people got.
It's surprising to me that, how much I got behind him and to find out that the majority of people didn't like Locke.
Yeah.
Like I said, I loved him as a character. I thought he was great.
I think the problem behind Locke is, for the hardcore Halo fans, I have the books, I've read the books, you grow attached to Chief. Like, don't get me wrong, I do enjoy Master Chief, even though I can see anyone's opinion as to why he's boring or a stale character throughout the series. If you've only played the games, I 100% agree with you, like, I get it. But I didn't watch that movie thing before I got into 5, so I don't know, maybe I would have liked Locke more if I'd seen where he came from before he became a Spartan. All I saw was Spartan Locke, and I was kind of like, hey man, Master Chief saved the world numerous times, and I understand you trying to do your job, but this guy has literally protected the galaxy. How about you just for 5 seconds think about that and go, you know what? He has a lot more under his belt than I do. Maybe he is doing the right thing.
But that was
but I know that's what you respected about him.
You know what I mean? It takes. You ever see The Fugitive?
No, I didn't.
You ever seen Fugitive? Harrison Ford.
No, actually.
Wow, it's terrible. Anyway, Tommy Lee Jones plays a U.S. Marshal in that movie, going after him.
Uh-huh.
And one of the greatest scenes in that movie is when they're at the waterfall and Harrison Ford screams out, "I didn't kill my wife." And Tommy Lee Jones looks him straight in the face and goes, "I don't care. I don't care. I'll bring you in no matter what, because that's my job." And it's one of my favorite scenes in that movie. And that's what reminded me of Locke. It was like, I don't care what Master Chief did. I have orders to bring him in, so that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on.
All right.
Cliff Bleszinski. You love Gears, so this guy to you is probably like one of your favorite developers.
I did like Gears.
He made one of your favorite games of all time, so he has to be up
Gears
there.
4.
Yeah. Well, he didn't make that one.
Good. No,
he wasn't a part of it. But Cliff Bleszinski wants to make games about lost dogs and mental health. What do you think? Tread lightly, my friend.
You know what? Look, I'm skipping over my words, trying to figure something out to say. Sometimes I hear an idea of a game on paper, and I'm like, that would never work, and then it does. So I'm willing to try anything. At some point, somebody said, you know what, I want to make a game with beloved franchises, but instead of you playing them, you just make decisions and do quick time events. And now we're like 45 Telltale games in. So
one of the things I will say, I love games because they can take those risks, and most people won't. And I respect Cliff Bleszinski for wanting to. You have to be careful, though, with something like this, because if you do it the wrong way, it could have some serious backlash. However, that being said, like I love when you saw my gameplay of Surge that I put up for one of our podcasts. The first time when you move in that game, you're in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
And when that happened, I was like, "What?"
I did see that. It would be an interesting concept, like you said. It'd be something you have to tread lightly. But I'm going to mention this. Stan Lee. You ever heard of him?
No.
Really? Never heard of Stan Lee?
No. What's he do?
I'm going to smack you in the face.
He make pancakes?
Yes, he does.
He's the guy who built that Waffle House.
Yeah,
right?
he's fantastic. Stan Lee made a little-known character named Daredevil. Never ever heard of him. Not a little special.
No.
So when he was making Daredevil,
Evil?
Huh?
Is it like Evil Knievel?
He released the comic book, and he was like, "Oh my God, blind people are going to hate me. They're going to read this and be like, I can't do this. This guy's a jackass." And after, like, I guess a couple months of Daredevil release, he gets a letter from, like, a blind children's hospital, how much they love the comic there, and how, like, every day they want to get it read to them. And, like, he felt so good, and it was like, to him, he was scared that people wouldn't get behind this, and at the end of the day, he was like, oh, wow, this is something like me, so maybe it could work, you know what I mean? You never know.
Yeah.
You never know. The thing that confuses me is Lost Dogs.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm assuming that the dog has something to do with the person's mental health, like maybe the dog is all the person has.
I thought he was trying to make another Homeward Bound movie.
Or, you know what? John Wick.
It was a good movie.
All he had was the dog his wife got him when she passed away.
God, that's such a good movie.
That dog, maybe when he means lost dog, it's not lost in the world, it's lost. Health.
See what you did there.
Yeah. Anyway. So we got our first, I don't really even know what to call this. Prototype gameplay.
Yeah, there's definitely no gameplay in that at all, man.
There's a monkey floating around.
Yeah.
But, so what did you think?
We're going to mention what the game was first?
Oh, Beyond Good and Evil 2. I'm sorry. I did forget.
Okay, we had a discussion right before we started. The first game was rated T.
Yes.
This is not rated T.
No way.
I don't know if it's my age.
He gives the middle finger. This monkey says the F-bomb.
I don't know if it's my age or the fact I have so many children. I feel like this is a little over the top, and language and stuff like that, I feel like it almost felt forced at times.
I can agree that with the trailer that they showed at E3, it definitely felt like they were trying to be hip. Like appeal to an audience and be like, if we do this, more people may buy our game then. Because as good as the first Beyond Good and Evil was, it didn't sell well.
No.
It has a cult following.
I played that game probably 2 years after it got released.
Yeah.
I think that was like most people that did it.
Yeah, I didn't play it when it got released because I didn't hear anything about it. And back then, all I had was Game Informer magazine. I didn't go on the internet. I used to get my little Game Informer magazine in the mail every month.
Nerd.
And I would read it, and I'd be like, oh man, Psychonauts is coming out. This game looks awesome.
I did get Psychonauts. I heard about that really. You know where I heard about Psychonauts? G4.
Oh, I used to love watching G4.
Back when we actually talked about video games. Psychonauts was the other game that they were talking about. It was really good. It was supposed to be a franchise on the Xbox, and they sold like one copy. I can't remember now. Event Horizon.
I never played that.
Or Event Horizon or something. That was a pretty good game. Anyway, besides the language and Beyond Good and Evil 2, I can say I'm super excited about this game.
Okay.
One, because I've been waiting forever for the sequel. And two, I'm really hoping that the reason it's so harsh in language and stuff is they realize anybody that played this game is now an adult. And these are the people that you're going to want to follow. So I'm interested in where the story's going. Especially, you remember the cliffhanger at the end of 2.
Yeah,
the first one.
But this is a prequel.
Is it?
Yeah, they came out and said that this happens before the first game. So the theory is right now that you're actually playing as the girl's mother. But we don't know yet. But yeah, so that's why a lot of people are also upset too, because a lot of people are like, man, we're finally getting part 2 and get some closure.
Now it's a prequel.
And people are like, oh, it's, and then, Ubisoft came out and said it was a prequel, and it's like, What the heck are you doing?
That's like if they ever finally release Half-Life 2, or what? They still haven't finished 2. Half-Life 2.
2's done, didn't they?
No, there was another part 2 that was supposed to come out.
Oh, the episodes. That's right. They had episode Black, and I think
If they ever finish Half-Life, they're like, "This is a prequel to Half-Life 1." Like, what? What is this? I'm still excited about it, though. Beyond Good and Evil is one of the greatest games ever made, in my opinion.
Okay.
It is a hidden gem that everybody... Psychonauts and Beyond Good and Evil, I say, are those 2 games that you probably should play before you die. In my opinion. Like, there's a small list of games I say are a necessary place, and Wind Waker's on that list, Mario 64 is on that list, and Beyond Good and Evil, in my opinion, is on that list, because that game, story element-wise, the camera, the side missions, the combat, the graphics, the voice acting, it was one of the most perfect games that came out. And it's funny that, like, I went back and looked at the gameplay and everything when I saw the trailer for this in the first one, and it still looks like it holds up, so I kind of want to get my hands on it. I hope they re-release that game.
Okay. Yeah, I know they re-released the first one on 360 and PS3. I wouldn't mind if they did hey, if you pre-order this, we remastered the first one again for PS4 and stuff like that for fans. I mean, technically doesn't even matter if you played it because it's a prequel, so it's not like you need any story elements.
The story elements.
But still.
I feel like a lot of people should play this game.
I agree.
I feel like that was one of the first... We always talk about Last of Us proves that a game could be as good as a drama as a film, but I think Beyond Good and Evil was one of those first games that took that step in that direction.
I do think
says games are more than just, mindless entertainment.
Yeah. Beyond Good and Evil definitely was ahead of its time and wasn't appreciated for what it did and what it was. I don't put it on the pedestal that a lot of people do. I wouldn't say it's my favorite game of all time. What?
40-year-old version pedestal. Continue, sorry.
Anyway, putting it up on a pedestal, man. I'm not putting it on a pedestal.
Yeah, I can see that, but I definitely think it wasn't appreciated. I can see a lot, but I always say this: anything that's overrated is overrated for a reason. It is that good. Me and you always say Nightmare Before Christmas is one of the most overrated films of all time. It's still a good movie.
It is good. I can agree with that.
Final Fantasy VII is overrated.
100%.
Still an amazing game.
That's debatable. I'm joking. It is good.
Your face is good. Either way, I think anybody that played the first Beyond Good and Evil, including you're going to pick up.
I will say this: out of that demo though that they showed, the gameplay alpha, the world looks beautiful. It definitely looks interesting. I realized we kind of didn't really even talk about
the actual gameplay.
Yeah. The world looks really beautiful, and apparently the reason why it took so long for Beyond Good and Evil 2 to come out was because they were just building this engine to start the game. It isn't even technically started. Yeah.
Well, like I said, this looked really early.
Yes.
So that's why it's so hard to have an opinion, in my opinion. And like I said, I'm still dwelling on, if you remember, we had a trailer for Beyond Good and Evil 2.
A long time ago. Which, when it looked like a sequel, too, because it showed the original characters.
But now it's I'm still excited for this either way. It's really early to say anything, so I'm not going to have too much of an opinion on it until I see a little more. I want to see combat. I want to see enemies. I want to see how the game flows.
Well, apparently, and maybe I misread something, I believe this one's going to be co-op as well. They said this Beyond Good and Evil, I believe, is going to be...
Everything's co-op nowadays.
Yeah, I know.
The new Tetris I have is co-op. 6.
So, did we get a year or a window or anything? I didn't think they even told us when it was coming. I'm not going to lie, I hope we don't see anything on this game again until it's almost ready. I don't want to be teased along the way the whole time. Because there are places to do that. If you really care about the game, do it on YouTube. Do it on, if I follow you on Facebook or Twitter or something, you can give me some small updates. But I don't need every show I watch, Tokyo Game Show is coming up. I don't want to see that Beyond Good and Evil again. I kind of just want it to disappear until it's ready, personally.
No, I agree with you. I'm with you.
So we got our Spider-Man news.
Yes.
We know
a lot of news.
Yeah, we know. So this is going to take place in Peter Parker's prime. He's already been Spider-Man for 8 years.
8 years?
Yes.
Woo! He's in college.
Yeah.
Might have been even graduated. No, he probably graduated college.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess he went to school for like 6 years. He's not Dr. Peter Parker.
He is not Dr.
You know what I
Parker.
mean? But he does have a degree in science, so I'm guessing it's like at least 6 years he went.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest, though. If he was Dr. Parker, that'd be a pretty epic battle between him and Doc Ock.
Yeah. So weird. Dr. Octopus ended up with 8 limbs. What a coincidence.
I know.
Dr. Otto Octavius. Stupid, okay?
I mean, you really want to talk about coincidence. Let's talk about J. Jonah Jameson. Somehow, all the letters of his name begin with a J.
Yeah, it works out, man. Look at Triple H Wrestling, okay? Oh, wait, that's a fake name, too. Never mind. So, either way, let's back to Spider-Man news. So this is 8 years, so this is not a new Spider-Man. Spider-Man in his prime.
Yes.
He's been Spider-Man for a while now. I think you could kind of tell in the trailer that we saw.
Yes, he definitely is moving around like he's been experienced.
He's got his webbing down, you know what I mean? He knows how to web somebody in the face and not kill them. So.
Now, I'm curious, and I don't know if you agree with me. If this is his prime, I don't really understand how you can unlock new abilities. You get what I mean? Like, if he's at his peak, I don't really see how you can get new abilities and stuff like that. I wonder if this Peter Parker thing that they've been showing us is just to lead us to the game's actually Miles Morales. Like, you start as Peter Parker, but you switch to Miles, because Miles is going to have nothing. Miles would literally be... Because the way that this is sounding right now, it'd be like the first Castlevania game, well, you play Symphony of the Night, but you don't lose all your stuff. Is what it kind of sounds like if you just stayed as Peter Parker.
Well, you got to remember the first Batman, Arkham Asylum, he had been Batman, according to that game, 6 years?
Yes.
7 years? And they still do a kind of level up system, but they do it in gadgets.
That's true.
So,
and he does build stuff.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So maybe you unlock more web designs, or you know what I mean? Or maybe, I don't know what direction they're going to go with it, to be honest. I'm excited to see. The news I'm really excited about is what did I ask for last podcast?
You wanted him out of the suit.
Yes.
And we
obviously they listen to us.
Yes.
Because we're getting this, buddy. Good jobs.
Devs actually said that the parts you play with Peter Parker outside the suit are just as important as the parts with him in the suit. So I'm curious if, I wonder if they're going to add a dating mechanic to it.
I think it's more of he was a photojournalist, so this looks a lot, like I said, this to me, the villains we've seen so far all look mob related. So if you're a photojournalist, I feel like there's going to be a lot of investigating going on. You know what I mean? And I feel like that will play in, a lot
of on the ground work.
Yes. And not to mention, if you don't, what was the Spider-Man game that did you had to actually get photos and Spider-Man 2. We actually had to get photos for work, and then bring them in. It was the only way you could get paid in the game. I was like, maybe they'll do something like that. I think that would be really cool. You go and get photos yourself, and then depending on your angles is how much it's worth.
You know what else I wouldn't mind? If the game was more in real time. Where you had to... Because one of the problems Peter had was he had to keep track of his daily life, but also keeping up with Spider-Man. And when something happened, even if he was out on a date with Mary Jane or doing something, he had to just go and be, get in the suit. Yeah. I wonder if they're going to do stuff like that. That'd be pretty cool, I think. You're in the middle of walking down the street as Peter Parker, and it's like, crap, I need to go.
Gotta find an alley to run down and be awesome.
Pick your dialogue option to see if someone believes while you're walking on.
What I'm also excited about is, thank goodness we're not doing another Spider-Man story in high school. Stop it. That's one of the most disappointing things about Homecoming, although I'm really excited about that movie. 3 franchises rebooted, and he's still in high school, man. And it just mind boggles me. Spider-Man was in high school in the comics for 6 months, and they grew him up. Why? Films keep going right back to he was in high school. I don't get it.
Me neither.
At least we finally have a teenager playing him for once. That's got something.
Yeah.
Do you think the movies got any influence on this at all?
I hope not. I don't think so. I think that they really... I think when, Sony approached Insomniac and was like, you can do your own thing, I think they really just wanted to do their own thing.
His voice does sound familiar, so I'm wondering who does the voice in the trailers.
I agree. It doesn't sound like Tom Holland,
No.
but it does.
Sounds familiar, so I'm wondering if he's done a voice in another Spider-Man game.
Or maybe a TV series or something. But you excited for the Spider-Man news?
I am excited. I think it's going to be a fun game. Like I said, I've never been a huge Spider-Man fan. If you want to talk about overrated characters, I think he's an overrated character.
Yeah.
But I did like a lot of his games. And Spectacular Spider-Man, as much as I hate to admit it, is one of the greatest superhero shows ever made. I lent it to you. You never watched it.
I know. I'm sorry.
You're a bad human being.
Let's move on. PlayerUnknown Battleground. I did some gameplay footage of that a while back. A lot of fun. It may actually come to the PS4.
The PC one now.
Yes.
Mm.
Well, it is coming to Xbox. We learned that in their press conference. But it may actually come to PS4. Now, we didn't get a solid confirmation of this, but what the dev said is that they are always looking for platforms to introduce their game to.
That's not enough for me. I've learned in this gaming world to never look into what developers say, because then you're going to be disappointed. Disappointed.
Maybe it'll come to the Switch.
Once again.
It won't.
It won't.
It won't.
Besides that, I'll take you back to Metal Gear Solid 4. You remember that?
Yes.
Everybody remembers when the first poster got released, it was Snake breaking to pieces. And if you look at all the pieces...
It's pieces of Metal Gears and stuff like that.
Well, it's pieces... And hidden in there is every system Metal Gears came out on in there. You could see the original Nintendo, the MMX, you could see the PSP, you could see the PlayStation 2, you could see the original PlayStation. There was one thing that looked like the 360. So everybody's like, Metal Gear 4 is coming to 360! You can see it clear as day. And Hideo Kojima was like, oh, we're always open to putting it out on things that we can put it out on. People like, oh, it's coming out on 360. Metal Gear Solid 4 ever come out on 360?
No. Well, Kojima said the reason why it didn't.
Because we're like 59 discs? Yeah, okay.
He said that because Xbox didn't go the way of Blu-ray, that the game would have been too many discs.
But that game had to install after every chapter.
Yeah.
It was probably still one of the most massive games there. But,
Probably. I can only imagine digitally how big
Yeah.
the game would have been.
But I'm just saying, I remember this, so it's not trying to take it away from you. I'm excited. And if it does happen, hey, maybe I'll play it. But for anybody listening, don't ever get your hopes up until a developer comes clear out and says, this is what we're doing. And even then, don't get your hopes up until you actually have it in your hand.
No, I agree. But, there is some, there may be a light at the end of the tunnel for
It would
those
be
who
a
were...
smart decision.
Yeah. It's always smart to put your game on as many things as possible. Just increases the chance of you making more money.
I think the two smartest things you can do is either put multi-platform as much as you can, or do limited release. I mean, to me, that's got to be pretty decent. Like Tomb Raider, I know I rushed out to get the new Tomb Raider for PS4 just because it had that limited release on Xbox, and I wanted it. Like, I was clamoring for it when everybody else had it. So I think that's also a really good idea. Get your money from Microsoft for doing the time exclusive, and then release it to everybody.
And then everyone's going to be like, God, I've been waiting for this. That's true. All right.
See, we could run business companies there, buddy, huh?
Yeah, we can.
We could make our own game. All right.
Run it into the
Pitch a game right now. It's about my cool life and how I fight ninjas all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
How often do you win?
Every time, buddy.
Oh,
time.
wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
You might be the real Batman.
I am.
Oh,
I am.
it's an honor to do a podcast with you. So the last topic I had, this was something I kind of threw in. I just thought it would be something we could talk about. Xbox One X. The biggest deterrent for a lot of people seemed to have been the price.
What I was complaining about.
Yeah. So I thought, you know what? Let's talk about the price. Is the Xbox One X worth the $500 you're paying?
Can I answer it first before you say anything?
Sure.
I think it is worth the price.
Okay.
And before you say anything, this is coming from a non-tech aspect. I think when you have, and this has been proven that this is going to be the top notch when it comes to systems, you can set a higher price than everything else. My issue is $500 is still a lot of money. So although you're asking for this makes sense. So they're probably still losing money off of it.
Yeah, they
People
are.
do not remember. Like, it probably manufacturing this cost at least $800 per system. So they're probably losing money off of this. The issue is $500 is still a lot of money.
I agree.
It's a lot of money.
It is. Here's what I just want people to remember. The original Xbox came out.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't as strong as the Xbox One X, obviously, and it wasn't even as strong as its competitor, the PS4. And it was $500.
Yeah, I didn't buy it.
And they tried to give you this piece of crap Kinect, because Xbox, for some reason, could not let it go. Apparently, they didn't see Frozen in time. But,
It's like what you did there.
yeah. And they just try to shoehorn that in. It's like, Jesus, just let it go. But that was $500, and people bought it. People seemed pretty happy with it. Then the problem I'm having with the Xbox One X, however, is that the machine isn't doing what they promised. Now, Microsoft promised true 4K quality. And for those who don't see, I put air quotes up when I said 4K.
He did do the air quotes. I can co-sign that.
Yeah. They promised true 4K quality. And it's already being proven that none of the games we saw at E3 are in true 4K. All of them are upscaled or it's checkered pattern textures. And it's like, sure, it looks 4K, but it's not. So you're already not kind of keeping to your promise. And a lot of the games that are still being developed for the Xbox One X, aren't going to run better than the version on the PS4 or PS4 Pro.
Or to take it to the Xbox Slim.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which also runs in 4K, by the way.
Yeah, because as good as this system may be, as powerful as it may be, developers still have to make the games for these other consoles.
Yeah.
And for you to get a game to be exclusive, you're asking these devs to put more development time, which is going to be money. More, more money involved, because they have to add more money in order for them to get that true 4K. But the only way they're going to do that is if you pay them, because they're not going to risk losing money on a PS4 version or the Pro version.
To me, the only way that would make this worth the $500 is if I'm guaranteed that this is going to be it for when it comes to Xboxes. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to have to buy much more for anything like this. I can do updates and stuff like that to improve it and everything like that. It just... The issue is, this is how many years into the Xbox One's life now?
4.
4 years.
I think we're going on. Yeah, 2013, so this is the 4th year now.
Now you're asking me to drop $500, on another system, and this isn't technically an X Gen either.
Yeah.
This is still technically an Xbox One. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With an X behind it. So, with that being said, $500 is a lot of money. Still the most powerful system you're going to get on the market right now.
Yeah.
So I'm fine.
In my head, I was wishing that they would drop the 1 and take Xbox Flip, so that no matter which way you look at Xbox,
It's an Xbox.
Zox boots. I just want to be able to flip it so that no matter what, it's the same. Anyway, that was silly of me, but no, I agree. And it's the one thing that I think the system has going for it that I put in the notes was it's a 4K Blu-ray player, and that's awesome. But as we've looked at numbers, more and more people are just streaming and downloading movies and TV shows.
Yeah, I was actually I was looking up the other day if there's anything coming after 4K or anything, and they're like, they pretty much think that this actual owning of physical copies of movies is a dead format by this point, and everybody's going to stream.
Yeah.
And it's funny, it's like, I look at my movies and everything like that, the best quality I get out of my 4K TV is like streaming films and stuff like that is the best quality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's weird. You're absolutely right. It's nice to have a 4K player built into it, especially when your competition didn't do that. But
at the same time, PS4 Pro streams 4K.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, as long as I have a PS4 Pro, to most people, maybe they're not even buying movies anymore.
Yeah.
To most people, they might be like, well, I can just stream it in 4K. I don't need to pay for this extra box or the extra $100 for a system.
It's an interesting thing because every year that, like, when Blu-ray came out versus DVD, every year Blu-ray did a little better, DVD did a little worse. Same thing with DVD to VHS. With a 4K format and actual physical copies, this is the first time ever it's just doing the same, and Blu-ray's doing the same. It's like nobody's upgrading, and a lot of people theorize it's because digital downloads.
Yeah.
It's like I can download the movie, and you can literally download it anywhere now.
Yeah,
I can do it off Comcast. I can download it on my phone. I can order it anywhere. I can order it off of Amazon. You can download movies everywhere.
Your PS4.
You can own them, or you can just rent them. That makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
You know?
Especially for people that... I like owning movies. But some people, they're kind of like, you know what? I don't ever really watch a movie more than once. It's nice to have that rent feature where I just pay like the $3.
And it's funny because, you know, I've always been on the fence of is digital download worth it when it comes to games, because I'd still like to trade my games in. With movies, I don't ever trade my movies in. I get a movie and I was like, man, I would love to have just a nice digital market of movies where I can just type in what I want to watch and it pops right up. Like, I was thinking that last night when I was playing Batman Return to Arkham, and we're watching Penn and Teller's Bullshit too at the same time. And how annoyed I was that I had to keep getting out, taking Batman out, putting this in. I was like, I would just love to have all these movies already on my PlayStation.
Yeah.
Or on the Blu-ray player. Or, no, let's be honest, I don't really touch my Xbox One. It's not going to happen. Sorry, Mike. Thanks for selling it to me.
But no, I'm right there with you. I really think digital is going to be the future. I think it's just becoming more apparent. No matter what people say, no matter what you really like, every media kind of slowly going that way. The music industry, people for the longest time were like, no, CDs will never go. They're going.
Who buys a CD anymore, man?
Yeah, it's gone. And I know people that, like, they argued literally like 4 or 5 years ago, nah, CDs will still be around. And it's like, I don't even really think companies like FYE, that they were based around music, they don't have anything anymore.
Well, companies like FYE and everything like that, the reason why FYE survived and so many other CD places got shut down, it's because they adapted. You know what I mean? They realized, you know what, we're not making money off of CDs anymore. Let's shove trend down people's throats.
Yeah.
That's the only reason companies like that survived. And like I said, to me, it's a lot easier because it's a lot easier to say, I'm never going to trade those movies in. When I buy movies, obviously it's because I love it. I'm planning on watching it multiple times. So it's a lot easier to be like, I could just download that movie and it'd be so much easier. You know what I mean? Like, you've seen my movie collection.
Yes.
It's ridiculous.
The movie collection is large. And that's not even all of them, is the sad part.
It's stupid big. And it's like, you know how annoying that is to be like, oh, and I got it all alphabetically. Then, to this point, on that shelf, or the bookshelf I have with movies, I'm running out of room. It'd be so nice.
You had to start stacking them on top.
Yes, which I hate.
I hate that
crazy.
Too. Yeah.
But, you know, it'd be nice if they were all saved in one place, you know? And it's not like back in the day, I don't know if it's once again my age or whatever, where I used to love special features and all that, and even that I could care less anymore. I used to get the double deluxe version of the movie with 2 discs and all that. Now I go to the Walmart and I'm like, single disc, just Blu-ray. Good enough for me. I'm just going to watch the movie. That's it.
Yeah. So I just don't really see how anyone can, if you don't already own the other systems, I don't see how someone can really want an Xbox One X when you're looking at the competition.
The only way, like I said, I would break down and buy an Xbox One X at launch is if GameStop does an amazing deal, like I get $200 towards it.
Yeah.
If I trade in my
original
Xbox One. That would be a great deal.
Yeah.
You know, but unless that can happen, I don't see myself dropping that money. Especially when I know everything that gets released for it is coming out on the Xbox One.
Yeah, or PS4.
Yeah.
That's what's also hard. It's like, well... And Destiny was something I put in the notes, which is a really good example of a game that isn't... It's going to literally run the exact same on the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X. They are not taking advantage of the power. And I feel like that's going to be most developers. Because...
And I promise you this, if the hair comes out wrong on that Xbox One X, it's going out the window, man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I 100% agree.
You know what's so funny is I'm playing Quantum Break, you know what I mean? And my wife just happens to walk by, she looks at it and goes, oh, what's the hair look like that? I was like, oh, It does look terrible. It's like, oh, it looks plastic. I'm like, yeah, it does.
That's every Xbox game.
Yeah.
Every Xbox One game, the hair looks like they're all Ken dolls.
Yeah. But it was just so funny. Even the face she made was just disgusting. Oh, why does it look like that? I don't know. I apologize. Oh, man. So, all right. Here's my problem. You think the Xbox One X will do better on people that don't have an Xbox or people that want to upgrade their Xbox?
I think there's hardcore Xbox enthusiasts, people who really like that, I don't want to say fanboys because that kind of has like a negative connotation to it now.
Which always annoyed me because I'm a Nintendo fanboy. I'll admit that anything.
Yeah. So I don't want to I don't want to say, oh, Xbox fanboys, and then people start messaging like, oh, because I like Xbox now. Yes, you are a fanboy. It's not a terrible thing, but it has like this negative sound behind it now. People who are really behind Microsoft and like what they're doing, I think they'll trade
Gross.
Yo, you want to go get a Mocha Choca bullshit?
Yeah, bro. Want to drink some Natty Ice and go through Halo again? Yeah, bro.
I think no matter what, they'll trade in their Xbox regardless of the trade-in deal and get the Xbox One X. I think those tech people that, even if the console isn't going to be used to its full potential, they're going to get it. Because to them, it's like, I need to have the latest and greatest. And don't get me wrong, sometimes I'm one of those people. I'm like, man, something new came out. I really want it.
It's shiny.
Yeah. So I can understand that point of view as well. I do think it's going to be hard for Christmas gifts. I think those moms and pops and grandparents that are coming around and they're like, oh, I got to get something for the kids. When they see that there's an Xbox One X...
No, I can't see Grandpa coming in like, let me get that Xbox One X.
Well, the problem I think is going to happen is he's going to say, I need an Xbox One. They're going to tell him there's an Xbox One, Xbox One S, and the Xbox One X. He's going to say, what's the difference? And as soon as he hears that $500 price point, and then the S is only $250, that's half the price.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's going to be hard to sell any parent on a $500 system when you have the exact same thing almost in their eyes for $250.
That's my big complaint about the Xbox One X. I got an argument with somebody because they were like, the Slim runs in 4K too.
It does not.
The Xbox Slim?
The Slim does not run in 4K. It only will play movies in 4K, but it's not even the best 4K Blu-ray player. It's actually pretty much it's pretty mediocre when you look at the list.
The way I looked at the stats online is it doesn't run in true 4K.
No.
And it doesn't have whatever the frame rate of 4K, but it does support 4K. So
no game runs in 4K on it.
Right.
So, yes.
My issue is, and what I was saying is, I feel like with the PlayStation 4 versus the PlayStation 4 Pro, the difference is pretty obvious. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for the Xbox Ones, I feel like it's... I get it. This is a really high-stated system, but can you explain that to a layman's person? Like, these are all the... You know what I mean? Can I break it down to somebody that doesn't know what I'm talking about, that doesn't know about these stats and be like, okay, yeah, that makes sense to spend that extra money.
Yeah.
Versus the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 4 Pro, it's like, well, this one runs okay, this one runs beautifully. There it is. There's a difference. And you'll get a better picture out of this one, guaranteed.
And the PS4 to PS4 Pro is only a $100 difference. The PS4 is $300, Pro's $400. That's a lot easier to make someone go, you know what, I'll pay the extra $100 for that. It's a lot harder to go from $250 to $500. Or even when they see the $250 and you say, oh, the PS4 Pro is a better version than that Slim, it's not as much as me paying, $250, it's only $150 more. I'll get a PS4 Pro. Not only did you now lose a Microsoft sale, but Sony just gained a sale and you're not selling your Xbox One.
Yeah. It's
in a weird spot. And I think that sweet price point would have been to match Sony. And Sony, I honestly think if they would have matched them, I think Sony, behind closed doors, had it ready. They probably would have came out and been like, hey, PS4 Pro now is going to be $350.
I was surprised they didn't drop to $350 once they hit that $500. Sony was like, we're good.
Yeah.
We're good, everybody. I honestly thought, in my opinion, I thought they were going to announce $450 and I was going to complain about that. I honestly said, oh my God, they're going to announce your system for $450. Watch. And then they're set $500. I was like, wow. And $50 makes a difference.
It does.
Makes a difference.
And that's what's funny, though, is $50 makes a difference because that's the difference between getting another game or something.
All right, I think $50, especially anybody that has kids that listen to podcasts. $50 as an average American and whatever you're making is what you need for the week to survive nowadays with these children. You know what I mean? And it's like that makes a big difference.
Yeah.
And I mean, and I was so shocked that they, like I said, I can understand. To me, my mind wraps around it twice. Well, this is technically the most powerful system. This makes sense that they have to charge so much for it. But at the same time, it's like, all right, it makes sense you got to charge for that. How many are you going to sell? How many are you going to sell? You're getting outsold by Nintendo right now.
Yeah, Nintendo's, well, they're not outsold yet, but they're catching up real quick.
Had the Switch, in my opinion, released more Switches, you know what I mean? Had the Switch released. Had Nintendo released more Switches, I feel like by this point you would have outsold Microsoft.
Yeah, I think you're getting there. Nintendo now, they changed their track from 10 million they wanted sold by the end of the year to now 20 million. I think it's doable by how fast it's selling, but I think Nintendo's problem is different from Microsoft's. I think their problem is the lack of games.
Hey, we got one game coming out for a month until next year.
Technically, so do I. Even without a Switch.
Nice. So, I was playing Oceanhorn on the Switch.
Yeah,
pretty good, man.
It looks like crap.
Really? You think so?
When I saw that, I was like, this looks like a knockoff Zelda.
I think
that's my problem.
I think that's what they were going for.
I think it was too.
It's really fun. I was actually surprised.
As soon as I looked at it, I was like, bootleg Zelda.
The price for it is perfect, man. I'm having
$5.
Huh?
What is it, $5?
No, it's $15.
Oh, that's not bad.
It's not bad. It's not. It's like, I felt like had it been 20, I would have been, I'm not playing this. 15. Yeah, I'm going to get this.
And that's what we're trying to say here. That $5 difference was the difference for you to buy that game. $50 difference would have made the difference.
Well, how much was the Switch when it came out?
$300. Still $300.
That versus $350.
I probably still would have got it. I honestly, my
move it up to $400 now.
That was my limit for the price point.
Exactly.
I would have paid $400. I mean, I wouldn't have done it happily, but that was the highest point I was going to pay for a Switch. But for me to pay $400, I wanted a bundle. I wanted it to come with the game. I
feel like it makes like you're already questioning that $400 price, but you're like, you know what? Maybe I can do $400. $500 is just like that's a lot of money, man. Yeah. Like,
I mean,
what you can do with $500.
Besides the fact that when the PS4 and Xbox One were originally announced, I got the PS4 because of the games they showed off. I cared more about what PlayStation was doing game-wise than I did with Xbox. But then when I saw the prices, I was like, yeah, I have to. I'd rather go PlayStation. I can afford it.
Yeah, and not only that, like I got a PlayStation 4. That was the first one I got a Wii U. That was my original next gen. I jumped up and got a Wii U. I was like, all right, this is all I'm going to need.
This is the next generation. Everyone was like, what the hell is that?
6 months later, I'm like, I need a new system.
Is that a Wii U? That thing looks stupid.
It was.
Hey, can you take that controller anywhere? No, it can only be within like 30 feet.
Not even 30 feet, are you kidding me? When I first got that, the house we were living in, when I first got the Wii U, my bedroom, the bathroom right across the hall. If I took that thing from my bedroom to the bathroom, it cut off. I go, really? It's a hallway. Not even a big one. But that's what it was. Literally, Nintendo was like, man, everybody's so pissed that we made this tiny range of this. Let's just make it where you can take it anywhere. You can call it portable. So the battery life only lasts 2 hours. Nah.
No one cares.
No one cares.
Well, I think that's an episode.
Somehow Nintendo got brought up?
So they always somehow do.
Nintendo always gets brought up.
They always get shoehorned in there, and I
love you, Nintendo. I love him.
I don't even know why he loves them, but anyway.
I love him.
This has been episode 29 of The Enthusiast. Be sure to hit that like button if you like this podcast. You know what? I don't even want to mention about the disliking. Just don't even worry about it. At this point, you know. But you can...
Every time you hit the dislike button, an angel loses his wings. That's what happens.
We had that guy now. It's just going to be... Bring them all down!
Bring them all down!
But you can find us on YouTube, Facebook, SoundCloud, Twitter, Twitch. Oh, we have a new logo.
Oh, we do! I forgot to mention that!
Yeah, I did too.
Oh, man. Okay, I'm really pissed about the new logo. Let's discuss it.
Really?
I love it. I love it. What annoys me was I was at work when I first saw it. So I've worked with these people. I'm really close to my coworkers. I pulled the picture out. I'm like, hey, what do you think? Every one of my coworkers was like, oh, it's Sabo. I was like, yeah. They're like, who's the other guy? And I'm like, it's me. They're like, yeah, I don't look like you. My only person that said, my boss, was the only one that was like, oh, it looks like you. I'm like, thanks. Everybody else was like, no, didn't even work with you. They literally only know you through pictures and conversations with me, and all knew it was you right away. And none of them knew it was me. Stop laughing. And the weird thing is, your name's not even Sabo. That's the nickname I'm giving you. They all call you that too. Oh, it's Sabo. Look at him. That looks just like him. So, but I do love the picture. I think it's fantastic.
I'm glad you enjoy it.
Although my coworkers are all jerks, and they listen to this too, and I hope you all know that.
But yeah, we do have a new logo. Please take a moment if you get a chance to take a look at it. Let us know what you think in the comments below. I also am going to put up a poll soon on Facebook. I want to put up a poll for the best game of E3. I'm going to have we're going to do our own E3 choice.
Ooh.
And it's going to be judged by the fans. I'm going to make a poll. I'm going to put not all the games. I'm going to put the big ones.
Yes. So those
and we'll go from there.
Those who are waiting for Life is Strange 2, it's not going to be out there. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. And any of those indie games that weren't shown actually on E3, like Samus, the Metroid Prime game, the 3DS one that they showed off of their E3 press conference, that won't be on there. It's only going to be games that were shown in the E3 press conference and that were actually big. I'm not going to put VR games either. But please feel free and take a chance to vote if you get a chance.
Or Mario Odyssey.
That's not going to win, but... So, I am one of your hosts, Will Zabo.
Alongside with Mario Love and Jesse Nazario.
And we are gone.
Peace!